Alright, hey guys, it's Aiden, and I'm making my 3 month and 2 weeks and 3 days update on testosterone, as well as a life update. Um, uh, Basically for a personal life update right now, I just got out of the hospital 2 days ago, and basically I went into the hospital because of some severe bleeding that I had, and it was pretty bad. I mean, to put it lightly, I lost about 6 quarts of blood, and generally, a person's body has maybe like an HBG factor of like 16 to 17, and I was averaging at my lowest 10.3, so that's quite a bit of blood loss. And if I had gone any lower, they would have had to, do a blood transfusion. So, I'm not quite up to par really with like physical abilities right now. I mean, I don't know, I have like some pretty bad bruising and stuff like on my arms, and you can see a bruise right here, and I don't know, you can see another big bruise. It's pretty gross. And there's another bruise right here from an IV and stuff. So um, I've had an interesting week, and I'm lucky that I'm, still here to be on this earth. But I just want to talk a little bit about um, the topic of transphobia and the fact that in our trans community we get a lot of it from each other and from people who are in powerful positions such as doctors, nurses, policemen, you name it, it's there. Um, my main concern this time around is that when I was in the hospital, I was bleeding, like profusely. Like it was enough that they measured it when they did a procedure on me, and they measured it, and it came out to like a quart and a half of blood within 5 minutes. That's a quart and a half. Like, that's a lot of blood to just lose in 5 minutes. And they found out that it was active bleeding, so, I was actually losing blood rather than, like, it wasn't built up blood. Like, I was actually losing blood. Basically, what it boils down to is that I had to come out as female to male in the hospital, and it was very, very, very unsettling and very uncomfortable. And when I did, I felt like I wasn't being treated like any other patient. I felt very uncomfortable in general around nurses and doctors, and where the bleeding was at was my lower region, and I had been bleeding profusely for 15 days on and off, and an episode of something else happened that I can't really talk about at this time being, maybe later on. Like I said, it's something that is not publicly necessary to say right now, but transphobia is present in all sorts of form. Phobia doesn't always have to be presented as hate, but it can also be presented as fear, or as uncertainty, or as outwardly confused. It can be presented as not only hate, but as in fear, basically. Phobia does not mean that you have to fear something. It means that you don't understand something and could possibly fear it as well. My understanding is that I haven't really ran into people who have opposed me in a general setting like that, and with me needing treatment as badly as I did, I felt like I wasn't being treated well. The doctor had no idea what I was talking about. I had to explain to him what female to male meant and what transitioning was. And then he proceeded to tell me that testosterone caused this, when he doesn't know anything about testosterone, or what it is, or how it affects the body. He knew nothing about it, yet he was making a health decision for me to tell to me when he wasn't informed, and he was very underqualified to be making these decisions for me when he knew nothing and I had to tell him everything. As a patient, you're supposed to be able to feel comfortable with the doctor and feel like you're being taken care of. And this was a hospital, like not just a little itty bitty town. I live in Champaign-Urbana, and this was at Carle Hospital. I mean, granted the fact that there's tons of people that were in the ER with me, I was losing blood, and it was quite a bit of blood. It wasn't just like little droplets. It was like gushing out. And I feel as if they took my health into a little teeny grain of sand versus everyone else. And I was treated very well by the nursing staff, very, very well. They were very kind. There was actually a lady who took care of me overnight, and she sat with me for about an hour and talked with me about everything, like about the situation that happened prior to me being in the hospital, and she consoled me and allowed me to talk to her. And I know that she was just a nurse, but it made me feel more comfortable with being there. As a hospital, I feel like they should have had somebody there who could have helped me or had understood. They're doctors, and I get that not all of them are going to understand. They are not all specialized in that way, which is why I ended up having them contact my doctor Dr. Ettner, who does my testosterone treatment. And once they contacted him, they agreed with him, and they still didn't understand, but they agreed that since he was a doctor and he has many other patients other than me, that the bleeding could not be caused from testosterone. And they understood that after they talked to him. But this was like 16 hours after I had been in the hospital that they finally agreed, and then it took 5 hours for them to even call my doctor. So I sat there for another 5 hours, bleeding still, and waited. And I feel like if a patient is bleeding this much, they should be quicker, I just feel like their service to me was very transphobic, very conceited, very closed-minded. They took their own biased opinions and own morals and values of who they thought was okay to treat and who wasn't, over the fact that I am another human being and they are a human being, and they should have worked more closer to me. And then when I told them what I thought was wrong, which I'm pretty sure that it actually was wrong, and they just made a misdiagnosis because they couldn't find what was wrong because they didn't take the time. I feel as if they didn't let me talk to them. Patient-doctor talk, like, hey, I feel like you really are doing a poor job with being my doctor. Can you listen to me, and can you listen to what I feel, and see if you can, give me I wanted a second opinion. They gave me a second opinion, but the same doctor did it, which I didn't want. I wanted a different doctor, and they gave me the same one. So personally, I feel like being treated this way doesn't happen to just me. Being transgender and being in a setting of transphobia puts a lot of pressure on me, not only them. And I feel as if obviously this isn't just me that it's happened to. I'm sure that millions of other patients this happened to all over the world. But I feel like it shouldn't, and it makes me angry. I sat there very, very angry for hours, and I got very rude with the doctor. I was not belligerently angry and didn't yell at him and curse at him. But I did tell him exactly what I was feeling, and I told him that, I feel like you're underqualified to be making my health decisions when I'm sitting here bleeding, and you know nothing about transition, you know nothing about testosterone effects, and then he was like, you need to stop it right now. And I'm like, number one, would you, like with any other medicine, would you make them stop a medicine immediately and not wean off of it? No. It's just like any other medication. The health effects of stopping a medication abruptly can be worse than what you would to wean off of it. Like an antidepressant, you don't just stop that. Like 200 milligrams of an antidepressant, you don't just stop cold turkey. That could kill you. It's just like any other medication. So I feel like they should have consulted my doctor before. They should have asked who it was and took down the number and called before they even made a decision or told me what they were going to do. And I feel like this shouldn't happen. This definitely shouldn't happen to anyone else. If I had lost any more blood, they would have had to do a blood transfusion. Luckily, I was okay enough, and I stopped bleeding at 10.3 HBG blood count, basically. Your blood count's normally a 16 or a 17, depending on if you're female or male. It can range from anywhere to 16 to an 18. Usually females have this 16 to 17. I came in at 16 point like something and left the hospital at like 10.3. I lost a lot of blood, so that shouldn't happen. Just shouldn't. So that's my update for that specific happening. As for the rest of my life, I guess I've been okay. I'm gonna be in the process of moving. The weekend that I'm moving is June 14th, 15th, and that weekend. And I'll be moving back here, actually, into this apartment, so I'll be making videos here again. And I have an endocrinologist or appointment with my doctor who is doing my testosterone. I have that on the 7th of June, and then that weekend of the 7th, I have my little sister's graduation. She graduated from high school, so I'm really excited to see, go to her party and celebrate with her and see her. I'm really excited that she graduated, and I can't believe that time has passed by so fastly. It just blows my mind away that she's already this old. Doesn't feel like it. Despite everything, I'm still smiling. Oh, and by the way, another update is my doctor decided that since all of this happened, just to be safe, he's lowering my dose to 50 milligrams weekly injections of testosterone instead of 100. What I was doing before was a half a cc, and now I'm going to be doing a quarter of a cc. So hopefully this will keep my ranges at a normal level and shouldn't affect any of the other health concerns that have been going on. So that's really the only updates that I can give you. Of course, I still have this, and I just shaved like 3 days ago, and I can feel like the stubble and like the roughness of my skin has like changed. Like it went from being really smooth all the time to now just really like rough feeling, which I think is the amount of hair pores. I really don't know. And I'm continuing to get hair on my stomach and pretty much everywhere else. My upper thighs and my butt. That's like the worst area that I can't stand that area, having hair on it now. My voice may have dropped a little bit from last time I made a video, but I really don't know. I haven't been keeping up with voice recordings because I've been ridiculously busy. So yeah, that's all I can really say for this update, so I'll stop making this so long. Alright, peace guys.